Konosuba Volume 15. Chapter 3. A Goddess's Protection Upon This Puppet. Part 1. O month, X day. Serena-sama said that there's something strange with the state of my puppetry. First off, it seems like she is dissatisfied with the way I haven't done any work at all. I seem to be obedient, but am strangely rebellious and have done nothing but get in the way, or so she says. That made her unreasonably angry, for some reason. She ordered me to keep this diary in order to understand what's going on in my heart. Demanding to show my diary to someone else would require substantial compensation. Thusly, I've asked her to call me Kazuma-sama, while pushing her breasts onto me every night before bed. Serena-sama made a face like she just lost an important part of herself in the process. Still, Serena-sama reads this diary every day. In other words, I will be able to harass her with what I write in this diary. Thusly, I'll write an erotic short story every day after each entry. Right then, let's get to it. O month day. Serena-sama told me to stop writing erotic stories. I told her that making such an unreasonable order will require compensation, and she cursed me before giving up on the matter. Her face is still on the verge of tears right now. It's quite a precious sight. I think I'll use Serena-sama as the main character for my erotic story today. She keeps saying that there's definitely something wrong with the state of my puppetry. That it's impossible for a puppet to speak and write so fluently and such. Well, let's leave that aside and continue with my entry. What should I write about today? Just then, I felt something soft press against my back. Yes, a naked Serena-sama is currently pressing both her peaks against my body. Kazuma-sama, I can't hold myself back anymore. Oh dear. I carefully embraced Serena-sama, who was looking at me with puppy eyes. Oh, come on now, Serena-sama. Don't look over the shoulder of someone writing his diary and raise a fuss about it. I'll require a great amount of compensation, you know? O month, O day. Serena-sama came to me today and tearfully begged to stop writing erotic stories involving her. The moment I said that obeying such an unreasonable order would require compensation, she punched me. But a mysterious phenomenon happened when she did that. A bruise appeared on Serena-sama at the exact same spot where she hit me. Serena-sama was in a panic trying to figure out what happened, but as compensation for having hit me, I asked her to do 100 squats with her hands behind her head while clad in nothing but her underwear. She repeatedly cursed me, but her sweat-drenched form as she did squats in front of me was a really beautiful sight. Let's have her do push-ups next time. Month, X day. I discovered a really serious matter today. Apparently, Serena-sama was involved in agitating the Magyanin, the ninja-like robot that I fought with at the Crimson Demon Village. It seems like she tried to put it under her control, but it was too strong to be easily bound, and went berserk because of that attempt. In other words, I went through all those troubles because of Serena-sama. Doesn't that mean that Serena-sama owes me big because of what I went through? As I was musing about what exactly I should get her to do this time, she punched me on the head. For some reason, that caused the same bump to appear on her head. Serena-sama seems really confused as to what's going on. Seeing her rolling around in pain and holding back tears with a confused expression was yet another lovely sight. X month, X day. Serena-sama came home with tears clinging to her eyes. It seems like she ran into Vanir when she visited the guild to gather more puppets. Apparently, he threatened her, saying that he opened a consultation office first and whatnot. Serena-sama really doesn't deal well with Vanir, so she quickly paid up to resolve this territorial dispute and once again came home penniless. Thanks to that, she wasn't able to eat anything today. Or so she told me while crying. Seeing her miserable form, while I was eating dinner made tonight's sukiyaki stew taste really delicious. Month, O day. It seems like Aqua, Megumin, and Darkness were asking around for my whereabouts. Come to think of it, I had amazing comrades who would look out for my well-being. I told Serena-sama that if I had to be kept away from them, that would require its own compensation as well. Serena-sama went just paying for your room is giving me a ton of trouble as it is, so why do I have to deal with nothing but your selfish requests as well, and finally broke down in tears. She said she was considering renting a cheaper place now that she has lost her consultation office at the guild. I told her that I was used to living in a mansion, so if she tells me to live in more squalid conditions, that'll require its own compensation. She fell silent and went back to doing her side jobs. I told her that she could just work as an adventurer and earn easy money with those skills she had as a priest, but she said something about her job being listed as Dark Priest on her adventurer's card, so she can't earn money through questing. That's why she has never accepted a reward from the guild until now. Plus, it'd be some time before the Demon King's army is ready to make their move, so she'll have to stand by in this town for quite a while yet. In the event of an attack, I and the other puppets would be assisting them from the inside. Sarina-sama was staring enviously at the high-quality roasted meat that I had for dinner. Of course, I couldn't just give it to her. If I did so, the puppetry on me would be cured. Yes, I'll keep owing Sarina-sama more and more, and eventually become her devoted right hand. Incidentally, her dinner for today was a single cup of corn soup. Month, oh day. It's been quite some time since I started living with Sarina. Recently, Sarina-sama has really started snapping under the pressure. It seems like she's been going through a lot to afford me my luxurious lifestyle. But Sarina-sama was the one who told me to cast away my restraint in the first place. There's nothing I can do about that. She had to borrow money from all her formerly puppet adventurers, so it seems like the only person she can count on as her underling right now is me. Recently, she's even started flashing passers-by her panties to puppet them so she could take their money, and this has run her afoul of the police. They lectured her about adult business laws and such and took away all the money she earned. Right now, Sarina-sama seems to be getting quite close to her limit. I told her she could just repay me with her body, and she asked how much would it take for you to live on your own. When I asked her to go into more detail, Sarina-sama said some really strange things. She'll remove the puppet status from me, so I can go wherever I please. Sarina-sama mentioned that I can resist if she gave me an order I really disliked. I endured quite a bit of pain in order to resist that order, and at that moment, Sarina-sama started acting oddly as well. When I asked her what she was doing, she said she was offering a prayer to Regina-sama, and was in the middle of forcibly removing the puppet status from me. It seems like Sarina-sama has lost her mind. I fiercely resisted Sarina-sama's attempts and offered a prayer to the goddess I hold deeply in my heart as well. Oh great Regina-sama, please grant me strength. X month, oh day. Someone threw a rock at my window. The culprit was a somewhat familiar-seeming blonde member of the Axis cult. It seems like she wasn't happy with how Sarina-sama was spreading her faith within the town. Sarina-sama turned red with rage and flew out of the inn, but the Axis cultist managed to escape by the skin of her teeth. It seems like she had been accusing her of being a whore who gains followers by flashing her panties and spreading such rumors about her. The neighborhood housewives and such seem to be always gossiping about Sarina-sama whenever I pass them by as of late, so the rumor definitely managed to take root. Sarina-sama started saying something about how the good name of Regina-sama was besmirched and such as she broke down in tears. She was looking at me with teary eyes, so I grabbed her hand and nodded. Comforting you will cost 5,000 eris and your breasts. Oh month, X day. Sarina-sama has been acting very strange lately. She's been giving me a lot of immensely reckless orders and paying no heed to any compensation, almost as if she wants to break me for my puppetry. As a devoted follower of Regina-sama, and as an excellent subordinate of Sarina, I naturally asked for her to repay me with her body. Sarina-sama would be troubled if the puppetry were to be removed. In response to my gentlemanly teasing, Sarina-sama tiredly said that she'll be taking me somewhere tomorrow. Does she plan to finally cross the line? I'm way too excited to sleep right now. Just in case, I'll give my body a thorough wash tomorrow. Part 2. Sarina-sama raised her head from the diary I wrote. Closing it, she let out a sigh. I was thinking of returning you to that priest today. I refuse. Upon hearing my immediate reply, Sarina-sama let out another deep sigh. She has slimmed down quite a bit since when I first met her. In contrast, I look particularly healthy. It must have been due to how I've been living my life to its fullest these past few days. Sarina-sama wordlessly took my hand in hers. And then... Ow. She suddenly stabbed the tip of my finger with a toothpick that she had in her other hand. Of course, blood flowed from the prick. At the same time, blood flowed from the same spot on Sarina-sama's finger and dripped to the floor. You really didn't believe in anything before? You've completely become a Regina cultist. The blood drained from Sarina-sama's face as she said that. What are you saying now? Is it bad if I am a Regina cultist? I've said it all this time, didn't I? I didn't believe in anything before, but now I only worship Regina-sama. As if such a person could exist in this world. Whether it's a god or a dark god or a devil, most everyone here will have their faith in something. Well, I wasn't from this country in the first place. Plus, it's not that unusual where I come from. There are plenty of people who don't subscribe to any particular faith where I used to live. Wah. Sarina-sama seemed at a loss for words. Seriously? I'm serious. Though perhaps it's slightly inaccurate to say they don't have a faith. Most of my countrymen throw a big celebration for the birthday of a major prophet for one of the sects, then the next month they'll ring the bells of a different sect to welcome the new year. And when they get older, they'll follow the traditions of a sect known as Shinto to pray for their well-being for the next year. Is your country picking a fight with the priests? Even if you say that. After a moment of silence, Sarina-sama took in a deep breath. What should I do? How do I break the puppetry on you? Even if I try to repay what you owe me, you stubbornly refuse to accept it. When I order you to get out of the room, you start resisting fiercely despite the pain. And now that you're a Regina cultist, if I try to lay a hand on you, the curse of vengeance will. She's saying some really dangerous things. Ah, damn it. What should I do? What should I? Hey, what can I do to get you to stay away from me? Because of what you did when you asked me to follow you, my relationship with my companions is in tatters. It'd be troublesome if you don't take responsibility for. Hey. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Ah, right. Hey, didn't you get a potion that cures puppetry along with that forbidden potion series that Vonir gave you? What happened to that? Sarina-sama tearfully clung on to me. If I recall, I gave it to that priest with the ability to turn any liquid she touches into water. Of all the people in the world, why did you have to give it to someone with such a power? Sarina-sama dashed out of the room as she said that. How did it end up this way? It was going so well, so where did I go wrong? Damn it, I was so close. The puppeting of the adventurers was proceeding smoothly, and I would have completed my preparations with just a little more time. Just where did I go wrong? As she ran, she angrily muttered to herself. I chased after her. It'll be fine, Sarina-sama. You have me, don't you? You are the cause of all of my problems. As though something finally snapped within her, Sarina-sama suddenly started strangling me. You wouldn't listen to a word I say and made nothing but selfish requests. That's why I... Gurk. Sarina-sama, if you strangle me, then you'll also. She grabbed my throat and started strangling me, but started sputtering and coughing herself not too long after and let go. Damn it all. Why did you become a cultist so easily? Choosing a god to serve is a once-in-a-lifetime decision, so at least put some thought into it. Sarina-sama smacked me repeatedly in the chest before collapsing to the ground. Judging from the waver in her voice, she's probably crying. Even if you say that, there were a ton of different faiths in the country I came from. They say there are 8 million gods in the country I used to live in. So adopting a faith isn't really that heavy a decision. I heard there are even people who worship a flying spaghetti monster or something. I hate your country. I hate it so very much. Sarina-sama was lying on the ground, shaking and covering her face. I flipped up her skirt and took a peek underneath. I need to make sure to get compensated after she strangled me just now. You like black, I see. Now wawaya. Sarina-sama stood up and batted my hand away. I'm going to your mansion. You'll probably follow me even if I tell you not to, so just hurry up. Is that an order? Then, I would need some compensation. Then fine, stay here. You want me to watch the house all by myself? Putting me through such boredom would require a really large amount of compensation. No, just shut up. Shush. Talking to you right now makes my head hurt. Sarina-sama shouted without paying any heed to keeping up appearances, and set off in the direction of my mansion. After recent events, her reputation in this town is in complete tatters. Even rumors like her being a slut who flashes her panties in public have taken root in the town. I have no idea how she has fallen this far, but she certainly has my condolences. Sarina-sama sped down the streets without any attempt at keeping her true personality hidden, and before long, we found ourselves in front of my nostalgic mansion. She barely took a moment to catch her breath before banging on the door. Open up. You're in here, right? Open up. I'm here to return your precious companion. Open up. However, no one responded to her calls. It seems like the house is empty at the moment. Damn it. Why now of all times? Hey, come on, let's go. They might be at the guild. Saying that, Sarina-sama ran off. As I moved to follow after her, for some reason, I was taken by the urge to look back towards the mansion. A currently empty and uselessly large mansion. Whenever I look at it, it feels like something is trying to get my attention. Hey, what are you doing? Stop standing there and hurry up. Sarina-sama started agitatedly lecturing me once she noticed I wasn't following her. Constantly chasing me to hurry up and whatnot, she really doesn't know how to take it SE. I took one last look at the mansion. Hey, come on, hurry up and get over here. Seriously, why the hell do you never listen to my orders? No, it's just, Sarina-sama, there's a girl standing at the window. I felt like I just caught a glimpse of a young blonde-haired girl peeking out from the second-story window. They should have told me such a cute girl was staying at my mansion. I would have considered coming home if I knew that. What are you saying? A girl? Are you starting to hallucinate now? No, wait, I can smell the scent of ghosts hanging around this mansion. You didn't gain simple priest powers in addition to the protection of Regina, did you? No, wait, who cares about that right now? Come on, hurry up. Something's weighing on my mind. I took another close look at the mansion, but I couldn't catch even a glimpse of that blonde-haired girl. This really bothers me for some reason. It felt like I saw someone whom I've spent a lot of time with gazing forlornly at me, but... With one last look at the mansion, I tore my gaze away and chased after Serena-sama. Part 3. Ha! Outside the town? Yeah, especially around this time of day. Upon reaching the Adventurers Guild, Serena-sama made to dash out again almost immediately after confirming that Aqua wasn't here, but... Why would they go out of town for? Is there something out there? Well, not particularly. It's more like our mage's daily routine. They most probably all headed out together. It's about the right time for it. Tell me about these sorts of things earlier. Serena-sama shouted in an anguished voice, paying little regard to all the glances being sent her way. She might be reaching her limit, in a lot of ways. Anyway, more importantly. Serena-sama, now that we are here, I want to get something to eat too. Saying that, I moved to take a seat by a table. Serena-sama stared enviously at me. I'm not paying for it. I no longer have any need to keep you in my debt. Excuse me, give me everything on the menu, and put it on her tab. I'm not paying for it. I really am not. I'll have a cup of water, please. Serena-sama ordered a cup of water to keep up appearances, but she grew increasingly antsy as she waited. Hey, you know where your companions went, right? Just tell me the location. I'll head on over by myself, you can stay here and enjoy your meal while I do that. I refuse. There's no way I can let you head out of town on your own. My party consists of an archwizard famous for having a screw loose, an archpriest whose power possibly exceeds your own, and a girl whose only merit is being tough. I find it very unlikely that my party will sit there and hear you out. If you run into them outside of town, it'll most likely end in a fight. Serena-sama fell silent for a moment. Right, then come with me after you're done eating what you ordered. There's something I can try if they are outside of town. I'm going to have to put you to some proper work for once. Eventually, Serena-sama confidently said that with a fearless smile on her face. You are quite late, Serena-sama. I almost grew bored waiting for you. What were you doing? You treated me, but with all that waiting, I'd say the balance sheet is just about even now. You really are. Serena tiredly grumbled at me upon seeing me sitting on the ground. Right now, we are at the public cemetery outside of town. She said to hurry on over to the cemetery after we had our meal, so I quickly ate my fill and headed over ahead of her. I ordered quite a bit, so, as her subordinate, I gave the remainder of the food to Serena-sama, who hadn't eaten anything decent recently. I told Serena-sama that I needed to use the toilet before sneaking out and leaving the bill to her. That brings us to now. Did it taste good? Yeah, it did. It would have tasted better if I didn't have to wash dishes until now in order to pay for my food. She snapped at me. I don't have time for this. Come on, Kazuma, hurry up and dig up the corpses buried under here. I'm going to puppet them and turn them into my soldiers. I'll start from here, so you go over there. My apologies, for religious reasons, I cannot do something so blasphemous. Aren't you a Regina cultist? What religious reasons could you have? If you just don't want to touch a corpse, then just say so. Just do it. Stop saying selfish things and start putting in some work for once. Seriously, spare me. Digging up corpses and the like is definitely out of the question. As I started enduring the pain to resist her orders, Serena-sama let out an anguished scream. Fucking fine. Forget it. Just stand there and watch. Almost on the verge of tears, Serena-sama picked up a shovel and got to work. Because of her delay, it's already close to evening. They should be returning to the mansion right about now. Meaning they would already be behind the walls of the town, so if Serena-sama was planning to attack them with an army of puppet zombies. I wanted to tell her that she wouldn't be able to make use of the corpses she was digging up, but I'd end up repaying part of my debt if I were to give her advice. Thus, I simply hardened my heart and watched her work. Pant. Yes, I got one. I just need to puppet this guy and let him dig up the rest. Marionette. But you don't have enough puppet points. What? Serena-sama turned around with a surprised look on her face. And, just as I said, the corpse didn't move at all. Hey, what do you mean by puppet points? What exactly is going? Sarina-sama mused for a moment, before bringing her hands together in realization. You're talking about the amount of control power I have invested in you. Don't give it such a flippant name. Hey, Kazuma, don't resist, you hear? I'm going to pull back a bit of the power I have invested in you to keep you a puppet. Really, don't resist, you hear? I really want to get rid of you, but if I release you from my hold right now, you'll definitely get in my way. So really, you get it? I'm reducing my hold on you to increase the number of puppets under my control, so seriously, don't resist. You know, with how insistent you are about this, it almost sounds like set up for a punchline. Is it fine for me to take it as such? Of course not. Seriously, don't resist. Right, here goes. I just told you not to resist. You're my puppet, so listen to my orders already. I fought fiercely to hold on to Sarina-sama's power as it tried to flow out from my body. She already has me. She has no need for any other puppets. Eventually, Sarina-sama tearfully grabbed me by the collar and started strangling me. Gurk. Wait, Sarina-sama, please listen to me. After all the time you spent washing dishes, it's already close to evening. Those three would probably be back at home by now. Tell me that sooner. In the first place, whose fault do you think it is that I had to spend all the time washing dishes? Fuck this shit. After screaming something that no respectable woman should say, Sarina-sama started back towards my mansion without bothering to wipe the tears flowing down her face. Sarina-sama looks utterly wiped out at the moment. Seeing a beautiful girl with such an exhausted look on her face isn't too bad either. Sarina-sama tiredly walked up towards the door of my mansion and started beating on it. It seems like she's too exhausted to even raise her voice right now. Eventually, a soft voice came from the other side of the door. Who is it at this time of day? I'd welcome you if you're a salesman, but if you're a religious solicitor, go elsewhere. That's Aqua's lifeless voice that I hadn't heard in some time. It's me. I'm here to return your man to you. The mansion fell silent after Sarina-sama said those words. After a short while, the door opened just a crack. And peeking out from beyond that crack was Aqua's doubtful gaze. Kazuma-san? Really? Are you really? In a voice filled with trepidation, Aqua said while peeking through the door. At the same time, a loud bam could be heard from behind her, followed by the stomping of rapidly approaching footsteps. Sarina-sama leaned over to my ear and whispered. Don't do anything to mess this up, you hear? If you end up back inside, I'll definitely give you a worthy reward. Why don't you just give it to me now? An anguished expression flashed across Sarina-sama's face for a moment before she clasped her hands and stood back up. Not long after, the front door opened and standing behind a somewhat fidgety Aqua were Megumin and Darkness. The two of them brightened up upon seeing my face. And then... Can I ask what that man is doing? Megumin sternly asked. By that man, is she referring to? Don't worry about that. Actually, I'm here to return him. Yes, she's probably referring to me who's currently kneeling beside Sarina-sama and brazenly taking a look up her skirt. The three of them stared dumbly at us. After a short pause, Megumin approached us with barely concealed anger written all over her face. Kazuma, what exactly are you doing? It really is strange for such a spineless person to be doing such acts in broad daylight. I know you like doing this sort of things, but at least try to pass it off as an accident or cover it with an excuse. You use all kinds of underhanded tricks when doing such things with me, but now... Something bothered me about Megumin's hesitant words. This is... I wonder what it is. Even when I make advances on him, he always gets scared and chickens out before long. This is both his good point and a bad point. Just what did you do to get him to act like this? In the first place, there's been a lot of rumors about you and Kazuma these past few days. Just what do you mean by you're returning him? Rendering him into such a pathetic state. This is... Darkness continued where Megumin left off. This is... Just what is this feeling? Actually, we don't need such a Kazuma. If you're going to return him, put him back in his original packaging. Taking something from someone and returning it after you broke it is quite horrible, don't you think? And finally, Aqua said that. There's plenty I want to say about her referring to me as unneeded and broken and whatnot, but Sarina-sama forbade me to speak right now. I'm a little too busy looking at her panties anyway. Just then, Sarina-sama extended a hand towards Aqua. Let's strike a deal. I'll return him to normal. In return, you'll give me that potion he gave to you. If you do that, I'll properly bring him back to his senses and give him back to you. At those words, Aqua looked down towards the potion she was clutching protectively against her chest. And then... I refuse. This is something Kazuma-san gave me before he collapsed from stress. There's no way I will give it to you. What are you going to use this potion for? What did that strange devil say to you? Tell me what you intend to do with this potion. Sarina-sama's teeth made a crit noise from how strongly she's been clenching them. She's probably really close to her limit after everything I've put her through. You should listen to what I'm saying before I lose it. It wouldn't do for you to look down on me. I'm still a... Sarina-sama softly started, but before she could finish. It's something Kazuma gave to me, so it's really important. I refuse. Fine, very well. Our negotiations are over. Eat this. Sarina-sama jabbed a finger towards Aqua and shouted. Seeing that, Darkness ran to place herself in front of Aqua. Death. A purple glow emerged from Sarina-sama's finger. However, it lasted barely an instant before fading away, seemingly without accomplishing anything. Get her. Aqua shouted and quickly leapt onto Sarina, who was still in shock. Part 4. After Sarina-sama was pushed to the ground, Darkness straddled her. Darkness isn't wearing any armor right now, but her well-trained body gave her more than enough strength to subdue a priest. Damn it, my magic. Why? Regina-sama. Regina-sama. Grant me strength. Sarina-sama struggled to escape Darkness's grasp, but she just couldn't compete with her strength. Seeing that, Darkness tightened her hold on Sarina-sama's neck and demanded. Now, release your curse on this man. What's this? I can't breathe. Taking advantage of Darkness's distraction, Sarina-sama wrenched one of her hands free and pointed at Darkness. Death. Death. DEA. She repeatedly chanted, but nothing seemed to befall Darkness, who eventually pushed her hand over her mouth. Now then, what should I do? I should probably step in on Sarina-sama's side right now, but... Say, you two, I really don't think we need such a thing. Well, we probably don't want this thing either. Could they be referring to me who's peeking up Sarina's skirt after she's been restrained, I wonder? Just then, I felt a slight tug on my sleeve. Turning around, I saw Megumin, who was smiling for some reason, standing behind me. She grabbed the hem of her dress and slowly lifted it up. Girls really like black, huh? I muttered as I admired the panties Megumin displayed for me up close. Megumin. When did you become so bold, Megumin? Ignoring the other two, Megumin cheerfully placed a hand on my head. Right, if no one wants him, I'll be taking this man for myself. Ah. As Megumin triumphantly declared, Darkness let out a flustered squeak. Still, this is a really strange situation. There's Sarina-sama who's being held in place and gagged by Darkness who's straddling her. There's Megumin who's gently patting my head as I admired her panties. And lastly... Oh, I see. The blessings that the minor goddess Regina has been granting you were cut in half, wasn't it? The blessings of a god are divided amongst their followers. That goddess of yours must be so minor that you are her only true follower, right? All of her powers used to be granted to you, but that's no longer the case now that Kazuma has become her follower too. Sarina-sama, her mouth still gagged, shot a murderous stare at me. It seems like turning me into her puppet and converting me to the Regina cult has actually ended up weakening her. Still, even if you glare at me like that, it's not going to do anything. Aqua crouched down next to Sarina-sama and motioned to Darkness to loosen her grip on her mouth a little. Now, turn Kazuma back to normal. He'll return to normal if you give that potion to him. He might resist you, however. Sarina-sama told Aqua in a resigned manner. Just what is going on here? What should I do as Sarina-sama's devoted servant? Plus, right now, Megumin held onto me with a death grip even as she was still stroking my head with her other hand. I'm still kneeling while staring intently up Megumin's skirt at. Fufu, it's been some time, Kazuma. Megumin chuckled. There's a slight blush on her face, but that was definitely a chuckle. I would really like to head off to help Sarina-sama, but when faced with the devilish temptations of such a happy-looking Megumin. Since Sarina-sama unshackled all of my inhibitions, I'm currently unable to go against my instincts. So there's really nothing I can do about this. Please forgive me, Sarina-sama. Still, how did he end up like this? Just what did you do? What's so fun about turning our Kazuma into such a brazen pervert? I didn't expect he'd turn out this way either. I just sought to turn him into my puppet. I unleashed his true desires and removed his inhibitions. But he turned out being way more willful than I expected. Sarina-sama tearfully bit her lip. It was really horrible, these past few days. He refuses to work no matter what reasons I give, and does perverted stuff whenever he can. He's just been indulging in his desires to live a decadent life. That doesn't sound very different from how Kazuma was originally. But never mind. He'll recover if I use this potion on him, right? Saying that, Aqua approached me. I don't really mind if he remains like this, Megumin blushingly said even as I continued to look up her skirt. Though, she still retained her death grip on me, so I couldn't run away even if I wanted to. If you're really fine with me as I am, I'd really appreciate it if you could let go. Aqua guardedly approached me and said. Hey, Kazuma, I'm going to turn you back to normal now, so don't do anything, okay? This is fine. Ignoring my instant reply, Aqua crept ever closer to me. We can't have that. Just stay right there. Right there is fine. Hey, priest, don't let your guard down. That man is definitely up to something. Sarina-sama gave out such a warning, but Aqua responded as though she was stating the obvious. I know that. How long do you think I've been with Kazuma? Megumin, make sure to keep a tight grip on him. Right, then. Steal. Ah. I briefly averted my gaze from Megumin's panties and thrust my arm towards Aqua. Shortly after, Aqua's potion popped up in my hand. And then. Eat this. Wah. I casually threw it at the ground. Just before the bottle hit the ground, Aqua managed to catch it with a marvelous sliding save. That's why I told you. That man is definitely up to something. There's nothing I can do about that. You should know this after being on the receiving end of his antics. There's no telling what this man will do. Megumin. Megumin. Do something. Aqua cried out towards Megumin as she cautiously approached me again with the potion clutched tightly to her chest. Additionally, Sarina-sama shouted at me. Sata Kazuma. As my puppet, I order you to stay right there. Just stay still for a moment. Oh fine. I don't really mind him staying this way, but... Here, Kazuma, let me give you a hug. Just stay right here, right? Hey, wait, stop squirming and stay still. Aqua. Quickly. The binding's on my chest. Megumin. Just keep him right there and turn him towards me. Something cold splashed against my head as I rubbed my face into Megumin's chest. I can feel something leaving my body as that cold liquid flowed down me. Hey, cut it out. I like being this way. There's still stuff I want to do with Sarina-sama. To do that, I need the power of the Dark Goddess of Vengeance, Regina-sama. Huh. Why do I need the power of a Goddess of Vengeance again? And actually, Sarina-sama? Why did I start addressing a Demon King's general with Sama? Why did I suddenly start worshipping a random unknown goddess in the first place? Ah, right. Just before I lost consciousness, I recall earnestly yearning to take vengeance on the Demon King's general for the wound she inflicted on our useless goddess. Part 5. Kazuma, did it work? Are you healed? Something was slapping me. When I opened my eyes, the first thing I saw was Megumin's face, right in front of me. I think I'll get healed a lot more if you hug me a little more tightly. It seems like you are back. Now. Hey, if you're healed, then please let go of me. As Megumin started pulling away from me, I had no choice but to stand up. It feels like I was having an amazing dream. And it feels like I had a really wonderful god looking out for me. Well, never mind that. Kazuma-san, are you okay? If you're going to worship a minor goddess like Regina that I've never even heard of, it'd be better for you to worship me. If you convert right now, I promise you'll be able to get better with your handwriting and a whole host of other benefits too. I don't need it. In the first place, why do you think I would worship a minor goddess? What was it again? Hey, what was I worshipping? Aqua gave me a shrug. Who knows? I don't really know the details. I don't really know myself, but now's not the time for that. Yo. Seems like you've regained your senses. Serena greeted me, still pinned to the ground by Darkness who was straddling her. How should I deal with her now? It'd be a problem to take care of you here. Then, what about letting me go? We lived together for a time, didn't we? I think that'll definitely make the both of us happy. Serena casually said as she raised both her hands. She's very much aware that I can't do anything to her right now. Still, there's something crawling at the edge of my mind. For instance, since Aqua can revive me even if I was killed by the curse of vengeance, I could simply take her far away from the city and... No, murder is impossible for me. If I could do such a thing, I wouldn't have a reputation for being a coward. Perhaps I could tie her up and abandon her in a dungeon. No, that's just the same as me murdering her. Damn it, after spending the last few days together with her, I've gotten somewhat close to her. Still, just letting her go like this would be... Seems like you're conflicted. Say, Kazuma, would you suffer at all if you let me go? If you let me go, I'll make changes to the plan to attack this town. I really want nothing more to do with the town where you live. Really? Plus there is the Demon King's generals in name only, Wiz and Von are living here. If we attack this town, there's no telling what they would do. I'll rethink the operation when I make it back to the castle. If you let me go, I won't ever lay a hand on this town again. What do you think? Let's strike a proper deal this time. Seemingly figuring out what is going through my mind, Serena gave me a slight smile. Hey, Kazuma, just who is this woman? Is she part of the Demon King's army? Should I kill her to protect the inhabitants of this town? I grabbed Darkness's shoulder as she started saying some dangerous things. Darkness is a noble and was, for a time, the lord of this town. In order to protect the inhabitants of this town, she might very well go through with it. Hearing Darkness's words, I steeled my resolve. Hey, what is that? Why do you still have that with you? Serena's expression fell upon seeing what I retrieved from my bag. Sorry Serena, our deal is off. It hurts me too, but since we both broke it, let's just call it a mutual default. What I retrieved from my bag is the set of forbidden potions that Vonir gave to me. Most of the stuff in that set is useless, but I'm pretty sure there was a level reset potion or something along those lines amongst them. I always relied on the power of my companions to get through these troublesome situations, but just this once, I would like to see things through to the end. If I used the potion on her, my level would probably be reset as well thanks to her curse of vengeance. What are you planning? Hey, Kazuma, don't do it. Aren't we friends who've lived together for a time? Come on, let me off. But between a Need who has the weakest class and a general of the Demon King's army, it's fairly obvious who would suffer more if both our levels were reset back to 1. I retrieved the level reset potion from the case and knelt down next to Serena. Sorry, I'll have you redo things from level 1 together with me. Serena started struggling upon hearing that, and Darkness delivered a punch to her stomach. Gurk. Uck. What's this? Hey, Kazuma, when I hit this woman, my stomach. I quickly instructed Darkness, who seemed taken aback. If you attack her, any damage you do will be mirrored upon you. Whatever you do, don't kill her. It seems like a death curse will befall a large area around here should she die. Megumin muttered after hearing my explanation. Darkness, however, wordlessly started pulling on Serena's cheeks for some reason. Oh. What are you doing? You're still hiding something, right? Come on, out with it. You can't fool me that easily. Pant. It hurts. Cool, but I'm not the sort of person who'd give up so easily. What are you saying? Kazuma pretty much knows everything. Ow. Hey, cut it out, there really isn't anything more I haven't already told Kazuma. Ow. Cut it out. The pain would just go right back to you. Seriously, stop. Stop. Darkness started enjoying herself with the effects of Regina's protection, and Serena desperately struggled under her grip. I held out the potion in one hand. Hey, Kazuma, stop this WOM. Wait, stay back. Your level will drop too, you know? Think about it. It's not like you'd personally benefit if my level drops, right? Seriously, think about it. Well, I'll just slowly earn my levels back. I'm pretty close to reaching my stat cap anyway, and I have enough money to live comfortably, so there's no need to rush. Let's go all the way to the end with your loyal subordinate, Serena-sama. Come on, let's start over from 0. Serena managed to free one of her hands and grab Darkness, who was pulling on her cheeks. You really are the greatest threat to the Demon King's army. You are exaggerating. I'll be living a laid-back life from now on, so if you ever make it back to the castle, please relay that to the Demon King. In response to my seemingly jovial words, Serena pointed her finger at me. What is she? You really are too dangerous to be left alone. If you've regained your senses, that means I'm back to being the only worshipper of Regina. All my powers must have returned to me. Farewell, my willful puppet. I grabbed the hand that Serena was using to point at me. Darkness moved to place her hand back over Serena's mouth, but Serena was faster. Death.